Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the King, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Today we have a very interesting video that I think the devs and the community needs to hear about things that we can need in Dead by Daylight and would really excel the game. These are going to be things that are brand new ideas, things that we've talked about in the community before. We've made some videos like this in the past, but I think now more than ever, the community really needs to hear this, as well as the developers, and hopefully moving on towards the future, we can get some of these ideas incorporated into the game. In previous videos where we talked about things like this, a lot of the things that we spoke about were then incorporated into the game, but we still have quite a far way to go, but a good start is a good start. Before we jump on into this, the White Crow codes, I still have some available. We'll be giving a remainder of them specifically on Twitch today and tomorrow on our streams. We're live right now as you're watching this video if you want to come out and get some codes for yourself. Codes will also be scattered throughout this video. There won't be a lot of codes on the videos. More will be on Twitch to reward those who watch there. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about some of these things that would really change Dead by Daylight. Number one on the list is custom game modes. This is something that I spoke about and the community has spoken about for a very, very long time. And I'm not necessarily talking about 2v8 game modes as everybody wants. You know, these kind of things would honestly break the game. The game is not set up to have 2 killers versus 8 survivors. I'm talking about custom game modes and custom matches that you and your friends can play. Maybe download custom game modes from their workshop or something like that. And really just have fun with DBD in a way that you've never had fun before. We've seen concepts like this when cows did prop hunt, and that was really awesome. Imagine how cool it would be to have prop hunt in Dead by Daylight, or an idea that I've been talking about before. I was going to save this for a specific video, but we'll talk about it here. Obviously, recently, Phasmophobia has gotten a lot of light, and I think with a game like this coming out, if they stick to their guns, it could definitely give DBD a run for their money in the horror genre. And normally when companies go head-to-head and they try to compete with each other, a lot of the times the ideas overlap, and I think this is a good opportunity for Dead by Daylight to look at something and do something that they've never done before or never would have think of unless it was for Phasmophobia. Now in the game, obviously you're hunting ghosts, you have flashlights, you look around, lights go out, you can't see anything, the ghost comes and kills you, right? What if we had a concept like that in Dead by Daylight? What if the entire map was pitch black? The killer would have night vision and see everywhere, and you would have a flashlight, and you only will be able to see where you shine your flashlight. You then work in generators and you have a little bit of a glowing aura around you, or you'll just have it in general. I didn't really think too much about balancing, so don't really get too technical about it. And then you just play the game like that. A full-on horror, more horror to DBD, more suspenseful, more eerie, way more dark. How scary would that be, playing against some of these killers, and all you can hear is a distant heartbeat coming for you? Now, obviously, when you're in chase, your light will expand a little bit more, whatever it may be, but adding game modes like that would be amazing for the game. Now, obviously, it doesn't have to necessarily be that game mode. It can be any game mode coming on in that the community desires or the devs want to put in. And in order to not split the player base, just make it into a custom game. Think about the amount of players and content creators and friends that just want to chill and have fun. How much players would benefit of that? Speaking of custom games, whenever we are playing in tournaments, I recently did one yesterday where I was a killer in the 2v2 tournaments for Boomer. A lot of things are based on RNG, and if you truly want to be competitive and show who's the best of the best based on skill, you need to get rid of these RNG factors. For those of you guys that don't know what RNG is, in short, it is just randomness. For example, where chests spawn, where totems spawn, what tiles you're going to get, what map you're going to get, RNG. Now, if you were able to set up specific tiles or have like one specific map, let's say all the maps have one variation that will always spawn the same in custom maps, think about how cool that would be for some of these people that are doing the tournaments. Obviously, tournaments have been on the rise recently. Everybody has been doing tournaments. Adding in features that allows you to ban items, ban perks, show, like, think about Codcaster from DBD. Not DBD, from Call of Duty. You can show your logos at the top, make logos, join teams, things like that. That would be absolutely amazing. And with the rise of people playing competitive DBD, I think this would be very beneficial for them to do, and it can really expand the game a lot more than it already is. This is just a no-brainer to me. Obviously, they recently fixed Spectator Mode, something that didn't receive love for a very long time. They started to do their own tournaments and their own broadcasts. Recently, I participated in Into the Fog, and you've seen Twitch Rivals was there. They even had Ninja the other day, and in order to see it, you have to spectate. Now, if this was buggy, it wouldn't really look too good for the game, so they went ahead and fixed it. And I believe this is the same thing that they can do when it comes down to private games and just giving us more options and viability. Speaking of more options, how about more UI options / settings for just graphics, etc.? This is something that they've spoken about before, and they said that was going to come onto the game, and then we heard about it again recently, but we still haven't seen anything from it. I hope that they would bring something like this coming in the future. There's a lot of people out there that have very low-end computers, or maybe you're on console and you don't want to get stuck with that icky 30 FPS. So all you need to do is add in a bunch of more graphic settings, change lightings around, just like every other game has, giving the player more options. Even as far as going to changing your FOV, this one's a little bit on the fence for a lot of people. A lot of people don't really know about that one because they think Shatterborn would be completely negated, which is understandable. You know, you could always change the perk if you want to do that, or you could leave it be and not put FOV, but just allowing the player to change their FOV, set their frame rate, things like that, rather than digging through the coding in order to do that and then risking getting banned for messing with your player data files. I think this is, again, something that they just should do like that, and hopefully we see it early on next year as they promised, and I think it would really, really benefit the game. Moving on forward, let's talk about some old perks. Old perks definitely need a rework, and they started to do this with some of the old perks, but I think they need to push the perks to a level where they're usable and can shake up the meta. Right now in Dead by Daylight, there is a strong meta on both sides. You know, when you're playing Survivor, you're likely to see a list of maybe 10 perks. Sprint Burst or Dead Hard, Decisive Strike, Borrowed Time. These are things that you always see 9 out of 10 times when you're playing in the red ranks competitively, you know? And same goes for the other side. You always see Ruin, Undying, Pop, Barbecue. These are perks that you see so much because it's the meta. It's the best strategy available. But what if you start putting in more perks that really shake up the meta? Not to the point where they're overpowered and they're relied on, but perks that have amazing synergy with some other perks, and that combination can change your entire gameplay. Now, obviously, they have been trying to do this with some of the newer perks, with Soul Guard and Unbreakable, for example, but things like that are so heavily dependent still on the killer that sometimes they get overlooked, and it doesn't really make too much sense to run them. They can make some really interesting perks to work with some other perks, and they can have a beautiful array of perks that players can choose from, a big pool, rather than seeing the same perks over and over. Now, I personally, you know, I don't really get too bored playing against this. I know a lot of people do, seeing the same thing every single time. I just still really like playing Dead by Daylight, so for me, I don't mind it as much, but I know for most of the community, this is something that they would love to get changed, and fixing those perks, as I said, is something they've been working on. Hopefully they work on more perks and more of the meta perks as well, changing them around, just making the game more balanced in general. Speaking about balance, how about add-ons? Add-ons are something that really need changes on some sides of the playing field. For example, the Huntress's iridescent head is something that needs to be looked into. You know, not necessarily just add-ons as well, items as well, keys, offerings, Moris. These things need to be changed, and instead of waiting for the day that that killer gets reworked, it would be nice if they were to just create a change in a hot patch or a bug fix or whatever it is, so players don't have to deal with this over and over, because as of now, Eerie Head has been in the game since the Huntress came out. It hasn't been changed since then, and people have been asking for changes for a very long time, and there's been some amazing community suggestions on how to fix this, and some that we've spoken about a lot on the channel, such as making it so that it needs to be 15 meters or 10 meters for it to be a one hit, unless if it doesn't, it's just a regular health state. Same goes with keys and Moris. Make it so that keys can only be used one time, as I've been saying over and over and over. I know Otz has been talking about this a lot as well. For Moris, make it so that you have to be on your final hook and not just you, everybody on your team. These are easy solutions that they can put on into the game, and I hope that they put it on in sooner, because these things are very game breaking, and it really drives people away from the game because of how overpowering or overbearing they can be, making it unfun for one side. And when you're playing a game, you just realistically want to have some fun. So doing something like this would be quite amazing for the community, and I think people would really like that, rather than waiting for that specific killer to get onto the change of getting a rework, then fixing all of that. It's nice that we get these bulk updates where we get the clown, like who's coming out next, or before we had the nurse, before where we had some spare changes and waiting every 1.5 months for this. But if that killer is way down on the list, we'd be waiting for a very, very, very long time. Speaking about things that players have been wanting, recently we received a Halloween event. This is something that I've been on record as well saying, you know, it's not the best, it's not what we had last year, but I don't mind it too much. Again, a lot of people were very upset, which is understandable. They wanted more out of the Halloween event, and they did give us some stuff. You know, they had daily login rewards, they lowered the price of things, so people were still able to get some skins in the game, which is nice of them. And this is directly showing what the community can do if you present your case, you know, civilly, and you go ahead and give positive criticism to the devs. They will respond the right way. And, you know, as a Fog Whisperer myself, these are things that we communicate to them, and we have done very early on about the Halloween event, and obviously we see these changes. But moving forward, I think the devs can take some notes from this and realize that these events need to be really fun for everybody. We've seen other games do amazing things, especially for a horror game on Halloween. There's a lot of improvement that can be made, and hopefully for the winter event or whatever event is up next, we can have something really cool and really unique. Obviously, when we did have something unique, such as the Pistula pedals and people getting it, it was, again, met with a lot of criticism because people were saying it takes away some of the core mechanics of gameplay, and people are just solely doing that. So these are, again, things they need to look into, rework around, and hopefully bring us better events moving on towards the future. I think the community would really, really enjoy this and really like this, because now you would have something that really spices up the gameplay and changes things for that time being. It's, you know, with every game, if you play too much, you will get eventually stale or bored of it, and a lot of people have recently been getting stale or bored of DBD. I can't speak for myself, but I know a lot of my friends and some content creators have been saying this. So every now and then, spicing it up with either custom game modes, as we talked about before, or having events that really change a lot of things would be very beneficial to the game, and hopefully they can take some notes on that and fix it towards the future. So the final thing that I would like, that is something that they can fix, that's not necessarily a new idea, is MMR / their dedicated servers. MMR is something that has been teased and talked about for such a long time. We've even had instances where we played at it, and they've continued to do a lot of tests, but it's been a very long time since we heard any updates on MMR. Hopefully towards the future we can get more MMR information and we can get it to work on in the game. I think this would be extremely beneficial, because matchmaking, MMR, dedicated servers are all such a gray area, and we don't get communicated with it a lot, so hopefully we can. And for MMR, I've been an advocate for it. I said that it would work very well in Dead by Daylight, and we never really got to test MMR out, because when MMR really truly came out, people were instantly seeing like rank 15s, rank 20s, and they said that it was going to take 5 games in order to acquire skill levels of everybody and put them in accurate matchmaking. But so many people jumped the gun and was like, why am I getting rank 20s? Why am I getting rank 15s? That they had to turn it off. Because of that, we've never really seen MMR be tested yet again, but some of the features still linger, such as locking in your character when you are readying up. Does that mean MMR is still being tested? We don't really know, because we don't get these things communicated to us. But hopefully, towards the future, we can see MMR coming out / dedicated servers being upgraded and fixed for everybody, so hits and things look a lot more smoother and cleaner. Obviously, we had a 60 tick rate, which came out, which made things better, but as they said themselves, it won't look 100% accurate or smooth. So hopefully they can polish some of those things up as well, and that way a lot of the people in the community can be satisfied. Now let's talk about some of the cool things that I've been wanting in the game for a very long time. We'll start off with rank rewards. This is something that we made a video on before, talking about how rank rewards could really change the game and benefit everybody in DBD. Simply as, you know, if MMR comes out, rank would mean nothing, so you would need something in order to adhere to ranks, because why would they still be in the game? That's where rank rewards come in. Every time you reach a certain rank, you can gain a different currency that is now incorporated into the game, which can be used to buy current skins or exclusive skins for that currency alone. Using this will make it way more incentivized for people to continue playing DBD, getting to these high ranks, and then earning some things that otherwise wouldn't be earned. And that's pretty much it. It's really easy to get to the red ranks, and having a reward for doing that would be amazing. It would drive the players to play even more. This also goes hand in hand with getting login rewards, and you can even give this currency for logging in for a certain amount of time, playing the game for a certain amount of hours, you know, adding challenges that you can do multiple games rather than just having one where it's like kill one survivor with your hand as the trapper, and then your next one is do something as a shape. You can make it more broad, hook 12 survivors. sacrifice, 20 people. Similar to the archives, but having them as daily rewards or weekly rewards and then claiming a big bonus the same way Dead by Daylight Mobile does it. I think Perk can learn a lot from mobile as well, as they have some of the most interesting ideas there. We've seen a lot of things such as golden tickets and things like that. And we have had instances of this with Splinters, but sadly that was taken out, so now you can use your shards to buy characters. But having something as simple as that could really benefit the game and keep players playing, having more rewards. And finally, I would love these two things in the game. This is what I am really hoping for: a crafting/trading mode. Crafting mode would be amazing. Simply have a limit on how much things you can craft per day, dismantle some items you don't want, such as medkits, toolboxes, get crafting material, and then use that crafting material to craft something else. And easily to make it so that people can't spam the millions of items that they have, make it so that you only can do this a certain amount of time per day. You only can make 3 purple flashlights a day, or 5 medkits a day, something like that. And just like that, it is that simple and easy. And then of course you can make it so that you can trade with people and have a lock on trading as well. So those people that hack or got away with, exploiting their save game data won't be able to give themselves a million flashlights. I think this is something that would be super beneficial. That way you don't even have to go in games and drop an item and hope to survive. And same goes with all of the things that you have on the killer side as well. Get rid of some of the add-ons that you don't use at all, and then make the add-ons that you want and you can use. I think that would be really beneficial and fun to the game, which also goes hand in hand with adding new items, adding new gestures, adding new offerings. Things like that would definitely shake things up, and I would really love for it to come on into DBD. Now, hopefully we can see some of these things in the future, and hopefully the devs, can adhere to this. And of course they do listen to this. These are ideas, again, that we have communicated with them, and I hope that we can see all of this coming on in very soon. As of now, we know things are currently still in the works, so I need to give a round of applause to the devs. They are going ahead and changing all the maps, as we know, slowly reworking every single one, and they look amazing, so we cannot fault them for that. They are reworking a lot of the perks, including killers, so they're doing, with no meme intended, a pretty good job. There's still a lot of things, though, that I really wish they would, change while they're doing this, so we don't have to worry about it moving forward, but we'll have to wait and see. Those are my thoughts and my opinions on things that DBD can really utilize and change coming on into the future, and hopefully we get to see some of those things as well. There's a lot more things that we can talk about as well for another video, such as bringing in more licensed characters. I can make this into a whole series, but focusing on one specific thing every single time. If you guys enjoy this, we might do that. So yeah, that is going to wrap it up for this video. I'm going to go get ready to stream now. We're going to be giving away those White Crow charms. Hopefully we see you guys there. As always, I'm the King. I tip my crown to you guys. We will see you in the fall.